Good morning, my WVON listening audience. This is George Wright, and this is the Partnership Show. Here in the studio with me is my partner in crime, Danny. How you doing, DM? What's going on this morning? You good?
Man, it's Saturday. I done had some coffee, ready to get the show started. We've got some callers. We've got content ready. Let's do it.
All right. Well, you know, one thing we can always say is that we got up this morning. We're blessed to be here.
That part.
And like you said, let's get going. So before I introduce our special guest on the phone, I just want to recap what the partnership is, Danny. And you know, some of our listeners may not understand what Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership does. Mm-hmm. So I'll ask you, and I'll set the question up like this. Danny, you're about to enter into a building, and the building is 10 stories high. And you're going to get on the elevator, and you're going to ride from the first floor to the 10th floor. Mm-hmm. And someone happens to get on the elevator with you, and you have a shirt on that says Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership. And they say, Danny Marshall, what is Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership? And you have to tell them before the elevator reaches the 10th floor. Mm-hmm. You're on the first floor.
Absolutely. The Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership is the largest public workforce system in the country. We work with job seekers and businesses alike to help them achieve their employment and placement goals. As a job seeker, you may be interested in learning more about employment opportunities or job training. Let us help you with either one of those. As an employer, you might be interested in getting, training for your incumbent or current workers, or you may be looking to, get new talent. And so you can reach out to the Chicago Cook Workforce for assistance with that as well. So to job seekers and employers, we are the go-to for assistance with all things employment and training in all of Chicago and Cook County.
Ding, ding, ding. I think you just made it. So give our listening audience quickly how they can connect with us, website, phone number, etc.
Absolutely. Callers from everywhere, you can connect with us on the phone. Visit us at 800-720-2515. Again, that number is 800-720-2515. Online, visit us at levelupajc.org. Again, that is levelupajc.org. For those of you interested in following us on social media on all platforms, we've got Instagram, we've got Facebook, we've even got LinkedIn. Our handle is going to be shycookworks.org or shycookworks. You can visit us on all social media platforms.
All right, DM, let's go. So we have some special guests for our audience, listening audience today, and I'm going to do a brief introduction. I just want to make sure that Lisa, Clelia, and Vanessa, are you on the line with us?
Good morning. This is Vanessa.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi,
Lisa,
Vanessa.
you there?
Yes, Lisa's here. Good morning.
Hi, Lisa.
Claudia, you there?
Good morning. Yes, I'm here.
All right. So this morning we have three special guests. Two of our guests actually work in what we call our American Job Centers. Mm-hmm. These are places that Danny talked about where we operationalize making sure that there's a connection between job seekers or career seekers in our vernacular to those that are providing employment and career opportunities. We also have Vanessa, who is going to talk a little bit about what Danny mentioned when he talked about Level Up. And this is a campaign to make sure that our AJCs, as we call them, once again, American Job Centers, are not the best kept secret. Mm-hmm. So let's start with Vanessa, DM. So Vanessa, you have started this campaign, implemented this campaign. It's up and running, where we sought, and when I say we, the partnership sought to make sure that people knew who we were and where we were, because we were finding that with this imbalance, if you will, in terms of supply and demand, there are more jobs out there than demand. Mm-hmm. We've talked about this. We wanted to make sure that people knew where to go, how to get there, what happens when they get to one of these AJCs. So I'd like to start the conversation off with you, Vanessa. What were some of the barriers that you felt that you had to overcome when you were designing this marketing, advertising, awareness campaign to really reimagine our American Job Centers?
That's a wonderful question. Thank you for that. I think the opportunity was to create clarity and awareness for the large audience that can benefit from an American Job Center. This is not only for entry-level individuals or C-suite executives. This is a wide audience that we're looking to cast our net and create this awareness for the opportunities available to them as candidates, but also employers who can be supported through the American Job Centers. It's also understanding and being able to easily explain that you can come into an American Job Center and immediately be connected with an individual who's going to help meet you exactly where you are. So it's a very simple process, and I think that was what afforded us the ability to keep levelupajc.org very simple. It's a very clean layout. This is available to anyone across Cook County who needs support in placing or hiring new employees, but also job seekers who might be looking to complete their GED or a displaced C-suite executive. So what the Level Up allows is it has a unique way of connecting across generations, across the multiple ways that the county is diverse. So when you see this, it's a game, but it speaks to an Atari generation as well as a Roblox and Minecraft generation. And so that was really the design concept behind it, so that it was going to connect with the vast audience that we're trying to connect with.
Thank you, Vanessa. And I'm going to ask Danny to respond, and maybe both of you all can answer this question for me. You know, Danny, in my role as CEO, my aperture is wider. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at the balance sheet. I'm looking at the staffing. I'm looking at policies. I'm looking at procedures. I'm looking at processes. But you actually sit at least some of the time in an American Job Center.
For sure.
And as you saw this campaign of awareness roll out, what were some of the barriers that you felt that the campaign addressed? And how would you actually communicate those barriers to Vanessa from the lemonade stand to actually address or mitigate some of the risk?
I think initially having a campaign alone is putting us head and shoulders above the competition or any other ways people go and get assistance like this. Sometimes it may cost people. I know myself that there are people who even charge for the services that we offer. We're talking about resume assistance. We'll help you develop and form your resume. But I think this particular campaign, having it for one, does us good. Having it does good because it's one of the ways that people can connect with us. And the reality is today people turn to the media to get information in the absence of being able to access the locations physically. So they may not know. But having that phone number on this campaign and having this campaign being plastered all throughout the city of Chicago, the barrier that alone defeats is people not knowing that our service exists because maybe they've not come in contact with anybody from the American Job Centers, or maybe they've not come in contact with any of the employers. So this campaign alone, just like any other campaign, right, when Nike is coming out with the new shoe, when Paramount Studios is coming out with the new movie, they recognize the power in campaigning and media as a way to initially connect with people who may not even knew that this movie existed or that this product or this service existed. And so this campaign alone, one of the biggest things that it does is put us out there in the media world so that people know that they're there. When you search words like job center or workforce or any of those things, because that campaign is related to it, people will find it that way alone. And where that journey takes them, hopefully it ends up in a phone call and then they end up in an American Job Center. So that is the biggest barrier I'd say this campaign has done a good job of defeating, is that people can now find us on media platforms, and we have a campaign that focuses exclusively on what they're looking for.
So, Vanessa, you have mentioned that these services are free and these services are open to the public and those residents across the second largest, quite frankly, county in the country behind L.A. County, which is the county of Cook. So how would you respond to Danny's notion that in and of itself, having a campaign that lifts the partnership and lifts these American Job Centers up is something that you sought to solve, if you will? This wasn't a solution looking for a problem. How did you actually envision this working? Did you think that there was going to be an increase in foot traffic? Did you see that there was going to be an increase in people calling in? What was your metrics, if you will, in terms of making sure that awareness equaled results?
Good question.
Oh, great question. I think you're touching on, that's exactly what we're measuring. This campaign can only be successful if the residents of Cook County are taking advantage of the services that are available to them, the services that they've already paid for as taxpayers. So we are absolutely tracking how many people are visiting levelupajc.org, but how many of those are converting into walk-ins and people who are being serviced by this. And if you will, I think Danny touched on some really exciting points about creating an outreach plan that's exciting. You're talking about, comparing this to launching a movie. And I think that was a very exciting opportunity for us as well, because we were afforded the ability to create an outreach plan that is fun, that doesn't feel like an air quote unemployment office. This feels like it's going to be engaging, because coming into an American Job Center is a highly engaging experience once we get you in the door. These American Job Center professionals, the partners that are part of this network, really are looking to support the entire individual. So walking into these American Job Centers, I've had the experience of understanding that someone might come into an AJC thinking they need one thing, but in explaining their situation, they're going to get supported in so many aspects of leveling up their life that they were not even, they didn't know they had that option or those opportunities there at that American Job Center. And I think that's where the opportunity is. That's where success lies, is in helping individuals level up, because ultimately their communities will level up as well.
Thank you. So as my late father used to say, the original George S. Wright would say, now you hold on. Theory is one thing. Execution in practice is another. So I'm going to bring in two individuals, both Lisa and Kalia, who actually work and run some of these American Job Centers. So I'll start with Lisa. Lisa, we've talked about the theory of change. We've talked about reimagining versus relaunching. But you actually sit in a center every single day. Have you seen the benefit of the campaign in terms of making sure that there's more awareness? And please walk me through quickly a journey of someone coming into a center. What do they see? What should they expect? And what do they do? Mm-hmm. So our listeners understand exactly what would happen if they are actually a job seeker. And also maybe talk a little bit about maybe an event or two or some activity that you have where it promotes and offers the opportunity for job providers, career providers, to actually connect with career seekers.
Sure. Well, an individual comes into our office. We have been seeing more traffic coming in, but the campaign is relatively new, so we're hoping for even more individuals coming into the facility and also coming in and connecting electronically with us. But an individual comes into the facility largely coming in looking for one piece. Maybe they're coming in to file for unemployment insurance benefits. Maybe they're coming in because they may want to access our resource center. Maybe they're coming in because they found out that, one of the partners of the community college is housed within the facility, and they wanted to meet with them. And then they find out when they get there, though, that there's even more that's available.
Right.
And so, talking with my staff, being able to learn more about the vast resources that are available and connecting them. It's not just, learning about it, but it's also that connection piece that I think is so important, because, you don't want to keep, recreating the wheel. Oh, I got to say my story again to somebody else. I got to tell my story again. No, it's real connections between all of our partner organizations so that we can essentially help every particular, barrier or every particular situation that individual is coming through to. And with respect to, career providers, we have a large number of individuals that are coming through that are very good, highly skilled individuals ready for work, and they just might need a little tweak. And so, being connected to the American Job Center is so important, because we have the employers, we have the training providers, we have the job seekers. It's just one big happy marriage that we can work with all of the entities to be able to make an individual or help an individual get down that pathway of success with employment.
Thanks so much, Lisa. So, Clelia, I'm going to shift a bit, because I know that within your AJC, and I've seen this firsthand, and we've talked about it on numerous occasions, you are really focused on something that's near and dear to my heart, which is our youth. Having someone be a dislocated worker is one thing, and dislocated meaning that someone has been, from no fault of their own, laid off, or their job has been discontinued. But at the end of the day, setting youth on the proper path is going to be our future.
Absolutely.
And so speak to us a little bit and talk to our listening audience about how you have focused your efforts within your AJC, not just on dislocated workers or adults, but talk a little bit about the importance of having these programs accessible to the youth in our communities, especially communities that are stressed and have been underserved.
Yes, absolutely. So the great thing about what we do with our young people is that, we have a lot of young people that come in on their own, and they're just interested and they want to know about what we do. But we have also a lot of youth who come in because their parents bring them, maybe grandmas. I think grandparents do a great job pushing, their grandkids to do something. But we also serve those young people who have lots of barriers, so maybe who have justice involved, who are gang affiliated, right? Who are homeless, who don't have food. And so as they come into our door, we know that sometimes it's hard, right? Because you come in, you see a receptionist, the receptionist will ask you questions. But the one thing that we do is that as soon as we see a youth that it's asking about our program, about our services, about what we do, we connect them right away with a career coach. So that person is able to talk to someone, express a little bit more about what they're looking for. And sometimes they're just wondering, or they don't know what they need. But, in talking to someone and having that conversation, we're able to connect them to next steps. So a lot of all the services that we provide, we work with out-of-school youth. So if they've been dropped out of high school, we have GED services in our office that will help them and help them finish their GED, so then they can go into a career. They can go into a trade. They can go into an apprenticeship. We have paid internships. And this is one of the coolest things that I think there is, because a lot of internships, we know they're not paid. Now, we are able to actually pay them, place them in a job with an employer that understands, the young people that we work with, that mentor them, that help them, that give them the opportunity to learn the skills that they need to, for their first job. We have field trips. We take our young people to college, because sometimes they've never even been into a community college or into a university. They don't know what that is. is like. But we expose them to the different careers and opportunities that there are out there beyond just, working at a food fast restaurant or at a retail restaurant. Sometimes college is not something what our young people are coming in for, but there are multiple other, training opportunities that we're able to, to expose them with and to have them experience so they know that there is something more beyond, the community that they live in or the group of people that they're hanging around with, that there's other options that they can attain.
Thank you, Kelly. We're going to take a break, but before we do that, I think we have a caller on the line. And remember, WVON call-in number 773-591-1690. But let's see if we can squeeze in before we go on break. Princess, I believe you are on the line. If you're there, you have a question?
Yes, good morning to all you ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to say Happy Veterans Day, because Veterans Day is the whole month in my book. And I want to the different things that you offer for as jobs and careers. What if there were people that wanted to do truck driving? How does that work as far as with logistics?
Can I take that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So we, through the American Job Centers, we provide opportunity for occupational training funds where we can assist individuals in high wage, high demand occupations. And so we actually do send a lot of individuals to truck driving. So
localish too? Localish?
Well, yes. The opportunities that we see when we send in individuals for their CDL, we like them to understand that over the road might be the first part of it, and then a lot of employers then like to hire individuals with that experience for local opportunities.
And the forklift drivers training, do you have you areas in that format?
Depending on what occupation an individual is going into, that may be included in it. For example, we operate a youth program that has that component built into their job readiness training, which does provide that forklift training.
And those that have been in the system?
Yes.
I just wanted to know, because when I run into these people, I'm going to be sending them straight to you.
Absolutely.
Just leave me a phone number.
Send everybody to levelupajc.org.
Level Up. Okay. AJC.org.
Correct.
Okay. Appreciate you. Thank you for your service.
Thanks, Princess, for your call. We're going to take a brief break, and we'll be right back on the other side. I'm George Wright, Chief Executive Officer of the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership. Every Saturday morning here at 8 o'clock on WVON, we will walk through the journeys that we all take to find a career and not just a job, to hire local talent that every business is looking for. The Partnership's network of about 100 community-based organizations is ready to meet your needs. We'll talk to the local experts and make it all happen. Join me for The Partnership Show with George Wright, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m.
The Partnership Show, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
I'm Sally, a volunteer at United Way. I'm asking people around the neighborhood what they think this place needs. Excuse me, hi. What do you think this place needs?
I'd like to see more parking.
More playgrounds.
Free movies.
That's easy. Better restaurants.
And you, what do you think this place needs?
This place? Oh, more ice cream trucks.
Okay. How about you?
Wi-Fi everywhere?
I was thinking more money in the pockets of local families come tax time.
Can I change my answer?
I was just kidding about the ice cream.
Oh, that's way better.
Now that you mention it.
When it comes to getting better tax refunds into the hands of local families, what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org. Because great things happen when we live united. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
When you were a little kid and you thought about what you wanted to be, teaching was at the top of your list. But things changed. And as you got older, teaching didn't seem like the best option anymore. So you're thinking you'll be something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Now you want to be a doctor. You don't think teachers save lives? 25 at a time. An actress? Try playing a different role every time the bell rings. How about a scientist? Ever heard of physics? Chemistry? Who do you think teaches that? Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, and taking learning far beyond the four walls of the classroom. It's time to recognize that great things are happening in teaching and put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. This is George Wright, the Partnership Show, along with my partner in crime, Danny Marshall, and our special guests, Lisa, Vanessa, and Clelia. So we thought what we would do, Lisa, Vanessa, and Clelia, is offer you an opportunity to really kind of talk in general, you know, if you could go a couple of minutes each, talking about what you think are the important aspects of the American Job Centers, as well as the Level Up campaign to drive more awareness to our AJCs. And then we'll let you go. If you want to stay on, that's up to you. We'll start opening up the lines for callers, because I really want to go back into some things that we talked about last week, Danny, which was dispelling the myths around the partnership, unemployment, employment, the cost-benefit analysis of certain careers, hot careers, et cetera, so our listeners can be really involved. So I will start back with Vanessa. So Vanessa, kind of a closing, lifting up highlights from your lens relative to this campaign, once again, aimed at making sure that people understand that these services are out there and we can no longer be the best well-kept secret.
So I think it's about leveling up. That's really that is the message. It is about coming in exactly where you are. And so when you visit levelupajc.org, you are going to see pathways, because regardless of where any individual or business is, there's an opportunity for you to come into an American Job Center and be met exactly where you are. And then someone through this network and this partnership is going to help you figure out what your path is to the next level and beyond. And so I think that that's one of the myths that we're trying to shed, that this is, you know, maybe this is only for entry level, or there are no onlys here. This really is for everyone. And, you know, I keep talking about that. Our taxpayers paid for this. So in the same way you would apply for unemployment if you were displaced because you had paid into that, your tax dollars have paid into this network. So come and take advantage of this. And I think that people are going to be very surprised at the breadth of services that are available to them and how that's going to impact their lives. And that's completely what it's about. We're meeting people exactly where they are and helping them find their pathway forward.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Vanessa. You have been a wonderful partner in this. I mean, when we first talked about this, there was this focus around relaunching AJCs, and I was the one who basically talked to you about, you know, is it relaunching or is it really reimagining? And I saw the fire in your eyes, and your eyes lit up to say that, yeah, we are not just relaunching the same old, same old. This is reimagining something good that can really make a difference. So thank you very much for your partnership. Let's go next to Lisa. Any closing remarks, lifting things up that you feel are important as you sit really in the trenches, meeting, as Vanessa said, clients where they are, and hopefully making sure that on their journey that they have all the support that's required.
Absolutely. And for individuals to understand that it could be just a small little help that is needed or a whole lot of help that is needed. We're here. We want to help. We want to help every single person be able to move forward in their career path. And, you know, if individuals come to us and they just need a small tweak on their resume, and just need a little bit of that confidence built for that interview, we're here for them. If they need a whole new career path, a whole new everything, we're here for them as well.
Thank you, Lisa. Claudia, parting words, unless you want to stay on, of course. But what would you lift up as you also sit in the trenches working with people along their career journeys?
Definitely. I think we want our listeners to know and spread the word, right? This is a great access to different kind of services that, you know, anyone in your neighborhood, in your church, in your family can take advantage of. That when people come in through our doors, they don't just take a number and they don't become one more. They're actually an individual that we sit down with, that we listen to what you're looking for, that we listen to, you know, what's going on in your life, what are your goals. And our purpose is to help you meet those goals and give you access to the many resources that we have in our centers to help you, you know, decrease those barriers that you might have, that we can assist you with multiple resources, you know, and access so people can actually be on their path to meet those goals. And they have a career coach. And I think that's what sets us apart. You actually get to talk to someone, and that career coach is the person that you call and you ask and you say, hey, I need help with this, or I'm having trouble with this. And that is sometimes is just having that support. And that's someone, right, that is walking you and helping you and pushing you throughout the way until you meet that goal, you finish that training, and you find that job. And, you know, we celebrate those milestones with everyone.
Thank you, Kalia. So, you know, we have really kind of applauding, if you will, our special guest who came on with us early this morning. Once again, welcome to stay. But we're going to open up our call line, 773-591-1690, WVON. So while we're waiting on those individuals to wake up and get up and participate, Danny, I've got a couple of questions for you. This is going to be in a format that basically says to you, this is what many people think, and then I'd love for you to respond.
Okay.
So the first one is, this is all well and good, but I need a real career, and all you're doing is placing people in these entry-level, low-paying startup jobs, which don't lead to any meaningful careers. Is that true or false?
It's both, because we will work with individuals who are looking for entry-level positions with minimal to no work experience. You know, the center manager and somebody else mentioned the youth program that we have as well. So obviously individuals that are 16 or 24 may have little to no work experience, depending on, you know, what their environment, what they grew up, how they grew up. And so at 16 to 24, there's opportunities to assist people who are looking for entry-level placement because they have little to no work experience. And then there's the more advanced worker. There's the director level, the C-suite level, right? Somebody who's had 10-plus years of experience in the workforce, in management, in leadership. And then there's also opportunities and training opportunities available for them as well. So as somebody mentioned on the call earlier, whether you're at the beginning of your job-seeking journey, career-seeking journey, or you've got some experience out there already and you just want to know, I'm interested in knowing how the AJC can assist me, levelupajc.org is your go-to to get the answers to that question. If you're an entry-level job seeker, if you got experience, levelupajc.org is your home for all things employment and training related.
Well, again, all this sounds nice and dandy, but I've been to one of these. Not me personally, I have, but I'm speaking for the general public. But I've been to one of these, and they don't feel welcoming. They feel like a public aid office. I mean, you go in, and there's these ropes, and you got to go through these, and then they ask you all type of questions, and then you're sitting in the open, and people are looking over you. It feels demeaning.
Yeah.
Is that true or false?
It's false. Obviously, job seeking and career seeking is going to be a very serious topic for people, and so we want them to know that is the environment that we foster. Right. While the campaign focuses on this idea of a game, that's how we'll connect with you. But once you've actually had the opportunity to visit the American Job Center, we want you to know how serious we take you trying to find your next career opportunity. So even if it seems like that, or if it doesn't seem like a welcoming environment, I can assure you that once you've had that opportunity to sit down with a career coach or with a staff member after or before the orientation, and the young lady mentioned earlier, people don't have to visit us physically. That's the other aspect of it. If you're like, listen, I'd rather not come in there because these offices, they look this way or they feel this way, you can connect with us online. A lot of our AJCs are offering services virtually still, and so you could attend a virtual orientation. Again, you want to learn more about that at levelupajc.org. But that experience is going to be different for everybody. But we encourage you not to allow the thought that you might come into a location that feels or look like the aid office or the unemployment office. We encourage you not to allow that to discourage you from accessing the services that you need to get your career to the next level. Levelupajc.org.
Well, again, all this sounds really nice. But I read a data point recently that said that Chicago leads the nation in terms of 16 to 24-year-olds out of work and out of school. Mm-hmm. Let me repeat that. Leads the nation, 16 to 24-year-olds out of work and out of school. So if I'm 18 and I have no work and I'm not going to school, there are those who would proffer up that you can't feign surprise if I turn to things that are non-productive.
That part.
So with all this support and help, why is the data doesn't seem to be moving? Why are the stats basically stagnant? Why are we still seeing a host of variables that lead our youth, our 16 to 24-year-olds?
Yeah.
And I can say right now that I don't think today's 16-year-old is a youth.
They whole lot more experience now.
Correct. So what do you think the issue is there, and what would you offer up as a way that the partnership is helping to mitigate that risk those risks?
Again, having this Level Up campaign out there in the media for people to find and connect with us is one of the ways that people, youth and young adults can access our services alike. But I think that if those numbers that, speak about 16 to 24 being out of school, out of work, just kind of disconnected, obviously that means we have more work to do for connecting with those individuals. And I think that this campaign is one of those ways that we're looking to connect with people. In addition, it's important for people to know that some of those organizations or the AJCs that we spoke of earlier, they are the ones doing the work in the community. So you may not see the partnership name at a location, but we're doing the work through these 100 agencies that George mentioned last week, and they're the ones on the ground connecting with people in the community, either at the city college level, at community-based events, at either fundraisers, at neighborhood hyper-local events. Our AJC, the staff and the team, is out there letting people know about the services. Obviously, young adults will need to work closely with their families or their parents to make sure that they can access these services, because it may require us for their parents to know what's going on in order for them to be successful, because they may not be able to visit as frequently as we need them to, or they may not be all familiar with the work that we do. But we know that when the family is working with us to help these young people, there's a higher chance of them being able to access success and get into a career path that they either did not know existed, or they wanted to get into this career path but just didn't know who could help them. So let us help you. Let us help your young adult. Let us help you, and let us deal with some of those statistics and those data by doing the work and not allowing those numbers to distract us from what we have ahead of us.
Thanks, Danny. And remember, 773-591-1690, WVON call-in number. Vanessa, I see you still with us, so I'm going to ask you to follow up on that question, because there were some options, if you will, and you selected the option of Level Up, sort of this gaming option that Danny talked about that we think might connect more directly to those individuals that are our Gen Zs, et cetera. So can you speak to why that route was selected and how you feel it can better connect to this target audience.
Mr. Wright, you know this is my favorite story to tell. So I think as we were coming up with concepts to, really launch our partnership with the partnership as your creative agency, we were just getting to know you as an organization, and we were also coming in with that preconceived notion that this was going to have to feel like a government agency. And so we created a few variations or iterations of this concept, and we really thought that your team was going to go with the safe option, that it was going to be, the picture of a person walking up a set of stairs, and that was going to be them leveling up, and they were going to be in a suit, and that was the direction we were going to go in. There was a dating app concept as well, which was fun, and I think that was maybe the one we were originally looking at. And then ultimately, we landed on the Level Up campaign and this gaming concept because it afforded us the opportunity to really approach, yes, Gen Zs, but more than just Gen Zs, because, again, we're looking at an Atari generation all the way through a Minecraft roadblock.
Yeah.
So everyone sees these pixelated graphics, and that's going to resonate with them individually based on where they engaged in gaming or if they knew someone who engaged in gaming. And so that's really how we landed on this Level Up concept because, again, everyone's coming in at a different level. Everyone's going to resonate with that opportunity to connect with their AJC exactly where they are. And these visuals really afforded us continuity and allowing us to really keep this campaign fresh for the next 12 to 18 months. So I think we're also really excited about that longevity in these visuals.
Thank you, Vanessa, and I'll use this opportunity for a quick commercial because I have an old ColecoVision. Now, I don't know if anybody remembers that, but certainly if someone wants to buy it at the right price, I'll let it go. Once again, 773-591-1690 for our callers. So I have this other question, and I'm going to see if I can get also Lisa and Clelia to splash in on this one, is this notion that there's a supply and demand inequality. And so we know that the macro data shows us that there are more jobs than there are job seekers. But some have said, well, that if you bifurcate that data and you look at it from those communities of color or those stressed communities, are the jobs the same? Is there inequity, if you will, in the system by which we are seeing jobs for one set of populations be in abundance and jobs for another set of populations not so much? I'd like to have you all speak to that because I've certainly heard this in the community. I've certainly gleaned it in some of the data points out there. So it's the inequity, if you will, of job opportunities and how that inequity manifests itself across neighborhoods, communities, and demographics, especially, again, those communities that have been stressed with inequality historically. So, Clelia, I'd start there. Danny, you might want to splash in. Lisa, if you have thoughts on this, I'd love to spend a few minutes before we sign off on this topic.
Yes, I think we saw a lot of that, right, as we were coming back from the pandemic, and we saw inequality, especially in pay rate. And, we have to definitely sit down with a lot of our employers and assess the situation and let them know that, that they needed to increase the pay rate. And I think it happens in a lot of our communities, and because some of our communities and some of our individuals might not have access to transportation. The jobs might be far away. And so a lot of what we do is definitely assist people and help them navigate the situations and how we can, provide resources and the assistance to help them close those gaps and assist them with transportation and assist them with making sure that we are able to pair them up with jobs that, that they're accessible to them. Talk to the employers, definitely, and do a lot of what we do is mediating advocacy for our, participants, for our, job seekers, because we know we have skilled individuals that come in and through our doors, and we help them, get those certifications, and we help them get licensed. So we know that we have skilled individuals. So a lot of what we do is advocacy and making sure that our employers understand that the individuals that are coming through the American Job Centers are individuals, that went to school, that obtained those skills, that we sit down with them, that we prepare them, that we make sure that they're ready for those jobs, right? And so we did a lot of advocacy in making sure that employers increases those pay rates, increase those salaries, that they provided the package benefits that a lot of our job seekers deserve. But that is, a work in progress, and a lot of talk and a lot of mediating and with the employers and making sure that they give, the right pay, that they understand that the individuals that come through our doors, they're just not applying for jobs that they don't qualify for, that we have, that we make sure that the individuals that we're sending to these employers, they're skilled, and that we know that they're the right individuals for those jobs.
Thank you very much, Claudia. So, Lisa, any thoughts on this topic in terms of inequity of opportunity / pay?
I think Claudia hit it right on the spot there, because it's all also about that explaining to employers and helping to advocate, because employers don't even realize how much more money they're actually spending on training individuals over and over. Training a new person, and then that new person leaves for a better paying job because they weren't being paid well at this employer and doing the skills or doing the job that they should have been paid higher on. And the employers end up spending more money training more individuals as opposed to retention. And so it's that discussion with employers on how do you retain your employees? Well, you retain your employees by paying them a wage that is equitable. And how do you retain it? By treating employees correctly. And so there's a lot of that advocacy with our employers that I think Clelia definitely touched on.
Thank you. And I think, Danny, it's an interesting topic, right, for the partnership, because, there are two things whenever you're talking about acquiring a product, whenever you're talking or launching a product, whenever you're talking about acquiring a customer, whenever you're talking about acquiring an employee. And those two costs are called acquisition and retention. Mm-hmm. It costs a lot to acquire an employee. Mm-hmm. It costs a lot to acquire a customer. Mm-hmm. And so Lisa mentioned something that could be prophetic. I mean, it's how do you actually monetize the fact that we are saving employers money, real money, that goes directly to their bottom line in terms of acquisition costs. Because if it not be for the partnership and for our American Job Centers and for our Level Up campaign making people more aware, employers are going to be left to their own demise in terms of acquiring talent.
For sure.
And that costs money. So speak to some of the things quickly that we do to make sure, to Lisa's point and to Claudia's point, that people are prepared
for sure
through that acquisition process of just not sending someone that is that's interested in A, but they're only qualified for B.
For sure. And I think that, speaking to that idea that you mentioned earlier of there being this supply and demand, how there is, maybe more jobs than there are skilled workers. And so I think that's the answer there, is that at our AJCs, job seekers have the opportunity to skills up, right? So that means that there may be, or some people may say, well, there's not enough jobs, or there may be a lack of skilled workers to fulfill the demand of the jobs that are available, right? So if I have very little to no skills in IT, if I have no skills in healthcare, if I have little to no skills in any of those in-demand industries, then yes, I will be crying, there's no jobs, there's no jobs. But the reality is those jobs are available. I just don't qualify for them. So then the question I need to ask myself is, what do I do to put my skills to work that I have, or how do I skills up to qualify for some of those jobs that are out there? And I think that was my initial experience with the AJC, was that, as somebody else mentioned, they expose you to other opportunities that you may not knew existed, and you did not know to get the assistance to qualify for those jobs, right? So when people go to, staffing agencies, if you don't qualify for the job, they tell you flat out, well, you just don't qualify for it. Well, what do I do now? Well, I don't know. You figure it out on your own. But at our AJCs, at our American Job Centers, if people don't qualify for the jobs, the beautiful thing is that we have occupational skills trainings that we can offer them, right? And that's, I think, where we stand out, is that if you come into any of our doors without the necessary skills for any of those in-demand occupations or any of those in-demand industries, we have the necessary skills training. And not just the other place we save employers money is sometimes or incumbent workers, right? People who currently work there may want to leave. But we have the incumbent worker training where we can help their job seekers or their employees train up.
Thank you, Danny. We've reached the top of the hour, WVON listeners. We really appreciate you listening, tuning in. Please see us next week at the Partnership Show.
The Partnership Show.
Wright. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Claudia. And thank you, Danny.
Glad to be here.
We will see you on the other side.
Thank you.
Thank you.